What is Project Falcon from Autodesk? Autodesk just recently announced Project Falcon, which is a kitbashing engine that you can use in the browser. It has lots of pre-built parts that you can use to make models very quickly, and then you can export them to Blender, Maya, or any other 3D modeling software. To get started, go to Project Falcon in Autodesk. Then you're greeted with this window that has a parts browser. You can simply drag parts into the window and then use your right mouse button to orbit, middle mouse button to pan, and then select things and drag with the left mouse button. Notice that when you drag with the left mouse button, it snaps to the grid. Here I can turn that off and I can put this wherever I want, then snap back to the grid, and it'll snap to the grid. There's also these controls right here, and I can move the object with these controls and use the scale control to scale it universally. Or if I select this scale tool here, I can scale in a particular direction, just like most 3D software. One thing to note is if I'm using the transform controls, a lot of times we'll hold shift or some modifier key to lock a rotation. In this case, if I'm out here, in order to lock the rotation to a set degree, I got to stay inside the circle. You see how that snaps to a certain degree now? It's just a different way of working. We still have the view cube that we can click on the top, just like most Autodesk software, and I can press F to frame selected or A to frame all. The scroll wheel zooms in and out. Then I can just start to bring in different pieces. And say I want this piece to be on the other side of this object, I can select it, then select mirror, and you can see how it's going to mirror that. And of course we can change if it's going to mirror up or down, and then apply. So now I have both of those mirrored, and then you can search through, and they have all kinds of really great pieces that you can start laying out onto your model. And if you see something you like, doesn't hurt to just drag it out so you can save it for later. You can search through, but I often find that it's nice just to scroll through and see what we might have. You can start putting these things here, rotate them a bit, move it up, and then remember if you drag it, it'll suddenly start snapping. So if I want to snap that right to the edge of that, that looks pretty cool. So now I can look for some sort of grill, and then there's lots of grills that I can choose from. I can put these on different parts of my model. We can also use combine tools as well as cut tools. So we have this knife. Generally, you want to look at a cardinal direction. So from the right, I select this object and then cut. I can draw a line, and it's going to cut that right there. And then I can apply that. I can also break it into different pieces. So if I select this piece and I really want it to be kind of a bunch of different pieces, I can select the split tool and I can draw these lines like this, apply. So I can move it kind of like this or like this, and you could then add different pipes and assemblies. So if I type in pipe, I can then add these pipes that will connect in between potentially. And if I want to rotate that, I can select the transform tools and then I can rotate it as I choose. And then of course I can use the scale tools and scale it. So now I have this pipe connection. That might be something interesting, especially if this wasn't a normal rectangle. And as you're going along, you can then add wheels, and then I can bring in different wheels to put onto my object here. Let's say I want that wheel there, and maybe I want a different wheel on the other side. And of course I can scale those up. I've got my cool little pipe there. Maybe I'll put this right on top of the wheels. And I can press A to frame everything. And it's coming right along. As you can see, you can really start to get a lot of different features that are kitbashed together. Project Falcon from Autodesk can allow you to make a lot of interesting things. I'm going to go ahead and delete this object right here by pressing the delete key. Sometimes you just need to scroll through to see what is available. So you can bring in different primitives and different forms to use in your project and then kind of save them. And of course you can save different kitbashes that you make. And then once you're happy with it, so I'm pretty excited about this object right here. Of course I can save it, but then I can also download it as a USD file, which is amazing. So if I download it as a USD, then if I'm inside Blender, I can file import USD, scale up my bash, and then you can see that I have all these parts laid out in a USD here in Blender. And then of course, then I can tab in to edit mode and use them. And what's really great is these are going to come in with nice topology. So if I tab into edit mode, this is generally usable topology that I can work with. and it's a lot better than some other ways of getting parts. So this is really fun. Try out Autodesk Project Falcon so you can start kit bashing and modeling parts. Happy 3D modeling.